Starting in 5 seconds. I am pleased to be here at the inaugural session of the India Economic Summit organized by the World Economic Forum and the Confederation of Indian Industry. Your conference is taking place at an extraordinary moment in India's democratic history. Whatever is happening now is a sign of the vibrancy of Indian democracy. However, I would like to assure you that volatility in Indian politics will have no fundamental impact on the process of economic reforms in the country. The reform process has become irreversible. Indeed, my government has depoliticized the economic agenda. Your summits in the past have fostered constructive interaction between foreign and Indian business and with the government. They have also facilitated foreign business becoming familiar with India's efforts both to carry out internal liberalization and to integrate itself with the global economy. Since you met here a year ago, a number of new and decisive steps have been taken by my government to strengthen our economic fundamentals and improve the productive efficiency of our system. In the schedule of your meetings over the next few days, you would be interacting with some members of my cabinet, some distinguished businessmen, economists, and senior government functionaries. They would outline for you only what has been achieved during this period but share their vision of economic agenda for the coming months. In the last 9 months, my government has taken important initiative over a wide gamut of economic issues which cover insurance, capital markets, information technology, housing, and infrastructure, to mention a few. The reform process initiated is wider and deeper than any comparable program earlier. Its multiplier effect would have long term beneficial impact on the economic and social development of India. We also take some pride and satisfaction that, given the turmoil in the rest of Asia and many other parts of the world, our macroeconomic fundamentals continue to be strong. They create new opportunities for private investment, both domestic and foreign. A GDP growth of well over 5%, inflation below the double digit number, comfortable foreign exchange reserves, positive growth in agriculture, stable exchange rate management coupled with sectoral initiatives have reaffirmed the government to a policy of liberalization with suitable checks and balances. I have said no earlier and would reiterate that today there is no panacea to bring about high rates of economic growth here. Discussions are going on within the Bretton Woods institutions, the United Nations, and other forms of reform of the global economic architecture. We will participate constructively in this dialogue so that the emerging reform process can durably address the malaise that has adversely affected many countries. Such a reform process should help in the evolution of a new financial architecture based on transparency, symmetry of obligations, equity, effective management in the face of rapid flow of large sums of capital around the world and orderly development of world trade for the common good of mankind. Poverty alleviation must remain the central objective of international action. We recognize that globalization is both a reality and an opportunity. We are convinced that nations cannot prosper in isolation and must forge complementary relationships based on mutuality of interest. India is committed to the continuation of its policy of liberalization coupled with effective social safety net. We will also pursue policies to maximize the gains from the opportunities which globalization offers while ensuring that credible mechanisms are in place to mitigate the risks that are inherent in this process. Our aim is to be a strong nation so as to be able to live in peace, prosperity, and dignity. We recognize, however, that the strength of its economy, whatever we do to strengthen our national economy, we will do it in a manner that will simultaneously strengthen the democratic polity of India. Whatever we do to strengthen the democratic polity, we shall simultaneously strengthen the secular unity of India, and whatever we do to strengthen our democratic polity and secular unity, we will bear in mind that the need at all times to dramatically reduce poverty in the shortest possible time. In this endeavor, our approach is the same as that advocated by Professor Amrita Sen, the great Indian economist who won this year's Nobel Prize for Economics, namely liberalization and globalization. Yes, but with a credible program to improve the social sector. Many of our initiatives in the social sector are aimed at providing nutrition, hygiene, health, and education to those large number of our population who continue to be the victims of poverty. India is a democratic country. Democracy is our greatest strength. Freedom of thought, freedom of action, freedom to live with diverse faiths and systems are fundamental to our culture. I believe that these are essential components of liberalization and globalization. We have another great strength. We have an unbroken record of honoring all our financial obligations of foreign investors and lenders. We have a sound legal system that incorporates justice. Stop.